All right, quick word today because I saw you guys asking like where I'm at. I'll tell you guys later, but quick word today. What I learned, this might hurt some people, but I need you to understand that God gave you your parents for a reason. I know some of us were saying, but my mother didn't love me enough, or my father was a deadbeat, or I didn't get the type of love that I truly believe that I deserve. I want to explain to you that God gave you your parents for a reason. I'm going to explain my situation, okay? My mother was an angel, okay? She had her flaws, but she was an angel, literally. And I'm not saying this because she's dead. I'm saying this because she literally had to sit me down and kind of like unwind my thoughts. Let me give you some context. So, when I turned 13, I got my own job. I was working at Vim's. Y'all remember Vim's in New York City? It was a clothing store, which actually shaped me to love fashion. But I started working at Vim's. My mom went with me to get my permit so that I could work, right? Girl, hold on, let me close my door. When I got my worker's permit, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was taking train and bus to get to work because I was so independent. You couldn't tell me nothing. My mother would be like, Dana, do you still want mommy to like walk you to work? Because she didn't have a car. And I used to be like, now I'm grown. Like I can take the bus and the train. Hello, I'm grown. I make my own money now. Okay. So anyway, it turned into that. And then once I started making money, taking care of myself, buying my own clothes. By the time I was 14, I was buying my own clothes. My mother wasn't giving me money for nothing. Okay? Because I was like, Ma, I got this. And my mother was like, you're not even making that much. And I used to be like, hey, I got this. Okay? And I became hyper independent. Okay? Stay focused, right? So, with all of that in mind, I don't know what and then I didn't have a biological father like growing up. My biological father, he was a deadbeat. He refused to take care of me because, and this is his words, because in his mind, I now had a stepfather and I needed to go to my stepfather for stuff. Now, growing up, I had really, really bad asthma. My mother kept having to take me to the hospital over and over. I had really, really bad eczema. Eczema and asthma together, hell, right? So my mother kept having to take me to the hospital this, that, and the third. Because they would give me the asthma pumps, but then it was like, oh, okay. So whole thing. Anyway, so going back, I became hyper independent. And I thought in my mind that once I reach 18, 19, I am no longer supposed to be depending on my mother. And me and my mother used to fight, and she used to be like, why do you think like this? Like, I'm your mother. I'm always going to have your back. I'm always going to take care of you. I'm always going to do whatever. And I used to be like, Mommy, I understand, but I need to do this for myself, right? I swear to God, I'm not lying. I was like, I need to do this for myself. I need to see what I'm made of. Your girl, me. I joined the military. I did basic training in Texas and then had to move to North Carolina. So I'm moving two places. I moved from New York to Texas to North Carolina. I don't know these states. We just doing it. Okay. So ended up getting married to my ex-husband, who's now a lawyer. And then, in the military, when you get married, you get to have your own place, right? Now, at the time, my ex-husband and me, we were separating, but I could still have my place, right? So I got my own place, and I'm telling my mommy I got my own place, And she's like, okay, cool. And mind you, I ain't have no furniture. But I was hyper independent. Are you catching what I'm saying? Hyper independent. So I got my apartment, but I didn't have no furniture, no mattress to sleep on. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna thug this shit out because at the end of the day, I got a backbone, right? And my mother's like, Dana, do you have a bed? I'm like, Mommy, I'm fine. Don't worry about it, bruh. She got on the plane. She came to me and she was like, you don't have no bed. You don't have no furniture. I'm finna buy it all. All right. And I used to get mad at her because I'm like, Mommy, I'm independent. Stay focused. So remember I said, God gives you certain parents for a reason. It is to teach you a lesson, okay? So, the year before my mother died, I swear to God, I'm not lying. My mother would drop so much money on me that every time she dropped money on me, I would cry. Oh my God. I hope I don't cry right now. She knew I wasn't going to take it by hand. So what she would do is she would wire the money to my bank account. And every time I would get a notification saying $7,500 deposited into your account. $10,000 deposited into your account. And I'm like, what is she doing? Oh my God. And I would cry. But I would ask myself, like, why are you crying? Like, why is this a bad thing for you? Okay. So anyway, my mother had called me to our house one day and she's like, we need to talk because I need you to understand. So anyway, we had the conversation and she's like, I need you to explain to me why it's so hard for you to accept money from me. And I was like, fine. I was like, my goal in life is to take care of you because you almost lost your life birthing me. So I don't feel right taking from you. Oh my God, I'm crying. Sorry, y'all. So I don't feel right taking from you. I feel like it's wrong. Like I should be honoring you, right? Not knowing that it's in the Bible, right? Because I had looked it up. I was like, that's what I was feeling. The Bible says, honor your mother and your father so your days will be long. But I didn't know that that was coming from the Bible, right? I just thought to myself, I need to take care of my mother because my plan was to buy my mother a car, all these things, buy her like everything. That was my plan. So I needed to know that I can take care of myself first and then build all the businesses and then just drop money on her, buy her a car, buy her a new house, buy her all these things. That was my thing. So I'm telling her that and she's like, Dana, I need you to reroute your thinking. And I was like, I don't get it. And she was like, you believe in God? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, don't you consider God your father? And I was like, I absolutely do because this is not to be creepy, but I swear to God, like I literally be calling God daddy. So when I need something or like we'll have prayer at like work or something like that and somebody will ask me to pray, I'll be like, daddy is your princess. And people laugh, but I literally call God like daddy, right? So she's like, you call God daddy. Like, so when you ask God for something, does he not give it to you? And I was like, oh. So she was like, I'm just a representation of him, but physically here with you. So she was like, you don't have to feel like you have to take care of me. I'm your mother, right? But that's when it finally clicked to me, like, your parents are here to teach you a lesson. My mother literally taught me before she died that it's okay to ask God for stuff. Even the small things, even the big things, even when you think like, I'm too grown to be asking God for stupid stuff, like when I could go get it myself. That was my mindset. But she taught me, no, like, ask God for everything. Just like you can ask me for anything. And whatever you ask me, I'm going to give it to you. Now, this is why I said your parents are here to teach you a lesson. There are some people, and I have 3 people that I know who literally have this mindset. And they're like, oh, my parents should be taking care of me. And I had to sit them down and be like, but why do you think that way? Why are you walking around thinking that your parents owe you anything? Why? If it's a man that's thinking that way, every woman that comes into his life, he's going to make her prove to him that she's worthy. Pay attention to the men that are around you, okay? They're going to make you think that you should be proving yourself to them because in his mind, his mother didn't care for him in the way that he thought that he deserved. So now you have to do it. But he doesn't understand that's a soul deep down within him. I also have another friend, female, same mindset. Oh, my mother should have taught me this when I was younger. No, baby. There's the internet. There's YouTube. There's Google. You teach yourself. You go to God. Anyway, this is getting too long. Bye, y'all. But I hope you understand. Please be mindful. You have specific parents. Even if they were deadbeats, they're your parents for a reason. They're here to teach you.